Mike is
Hey,
hot.
Mike's hot.
Welcome back to Uncontained Multitudes, episode 54.
You always know that damn episode number.
I think
I
it's so
never
cool.
know. I just show up and start talking.
I mean, it's...
I'm Meg, by the way.
I'm Jeremy. The episode number only really started becoming relevant to me after we hit 50, because that's
Yeah.
insane. Like, that is so
I know.
long for a two
pod.
chuds on a podcast.
Two chuds on a podcast. That's what they should have been called instead of Uncontained Multitudes.
We
Two
didn't think
chuds
that.
and a mic.
Back when we first started this in, like, early 2024, chud was a word I knew, but, not in, like, common parlance yet. It was still...
Yeah, I certainly didn't know it.
If you were calling people chud, you were, on parts of the internet that, like, you weren't supposed to be on.
No.
Like, before this, we were just talking about how Meg can't stop saying mogging and maxing.
Yeah.
And, I told her about how those terms, they're not new. They came from, like most things, they're downstream from, like, 4chan 15 years ago.
Which is, to me, they're like, oh, look at this new word I get to say. I just learned it.
No,
It just appeared.
Looks maxing and, like, bone smashing since I was still in high school. I was chewing mastic gum that I bought on Amazon to, like, widen my jaw in high school.
Just folding under no pressure. Like, he does not need to be giving information about himself like this.
My fault. It just gives you my fault. Listen, I was a chud before any of you guys were. Just so we're clear. Just so...
Let's be clear. Let's be clear. About his chud identity. Do you have any, like, fun story? I don't have anything. I forgot about intro stuff.
Kind of a nothing burger week. I also didn't prepare a warm-up question, I fear.
We're not warmed up. We're just, yeah, whatever.
Oh, well, I guess... So, new development on the podcast, guys. I have made the decision. I knew this was going to come for some time now after I got my degree, but
Guys,
I've
brace
made
yourselves.
the decision to move to Indianapolis. If I can, or wherever will employ me. But mostly, I hope to go to Indianapolis because I have some friends down there that when I move away from the town I currently live in, it'll make it easier to pick up and drop my life in a new city. But this does mean that the future of the pod is...
It's up in the air.
It's uncertain.
We're not sure where it's going or what it'll look like. Also... Before he moves, I'm, like, gonna be out of the country for, like, multiple weeks. So there's gonna be, like, no episodes, and then there's gonna be we don't know.
We don't know.
That.
Yeah.
So enjoy this episode, because we don't really know what the fuck else is coming yet. This won't be, like, the last episode, certainly, but there might be a last episode. We don't know.
We don't know yet. Yeah, we don't know. Jeremy's moving away, and we don't want to do it over, like, Discord, because that's just not the same.
That's just lame.
That's just lame.
But
so,
we've talked about replacing Jeremy. I don't know how I feel about that yet, but that's like an option. Jeremy's mom wants me to move with him to Indianapolis.
Yeah, I think everyone should move down to Indianapolis.
Honestly,
and then
if you plant, like, some good roots down there, maybe people will start following. We live in this city that's, like, cursed. Like, no one has been able to, like, successfully move away from it that I know of.
Everyone has also at one point or another said they wanted to move to Chicago, and that was my original goal. Yeah. I wanted to move there because that's where you go if you live in a small town and you finish college, you go to Chicago.
You go to Chicago. But Chicago is expensive.
Yeah.
And all of us can't move because we're all too poor.
We're all too poor. And
so, Jeremy's, like, breaking, like, a generational cycle right now. Like, it's really really
big.
Impressive. It's big. It's huge.
So I'm hoping that if people see me move down there and then people know, oh, if I move to Indianapolis,
we got one guy down there.
There's one guy who can hang out with us. I'm hoping.
That's kind of awesome. I get tattoos down there sometimes, so...
You did tell me that.
Yeah.
Which one did you get?
My stomach and the one on my leg, my bird cage.
Cool. That's cool.
Yup. So maybe I'll come down. I'll
visit.
See you. I'll get a tattoo.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. No, but I'm super excited for you.
I am too. It's nice to get out of this cursed town. Mm-hmm. It's horrible here.
it's like super horrible here. Okay. That's
anything. Yeah, no intro.
No,
sorry, guys.
No, I don't know. We're like,
the last episode, our intro was literally 30 minutes long.
This time it's not.
This time it's
gonna fucking start talking.
Yeah, 5 minutes, 30 seconds. What the hell are we talking about,
man? We're talking about the vibe shift.
The vibe shift. So when I wrote down, what the hell did I write down?
I don't know.
For this, it was like...
You wrote the vibe shift. Is it hip to be left wing anymore?
Thank you. Yeah, is it hip to be right wing and or is it hip to be left wing anymore?
Yeah.
And like the cultural kind of takeover and dominance of... Well, I mean, how the hell did Trump get elected?
Right. Well, and also just like the waves of how culture moves and how everything kind of reacts to itself. So like, you know, like a decade ago we were like in this like golden Obama liberal era. Everyone was real woke. Everyone was wearing their pussy hats. Mm-hmm. And comparing that to today, or specifically like we're kind of more talking about like the 2023, 2024 era. Right?
Largely, yeah, 2023 to 2025
okay.
is what I have most.
Yeah. And just, like, the contrast of those and how, like, we went from being, like, a very, like, liberal, like, culture to a very conservative culture, like, pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. I think it was coined around 2022 and really came into common parlance around the 2024
You're fucking
election.
With the parlance today.
Sorry,
this man has dropped parlance twice already. We're 5 minutes in.
And it's a word I've never used in the podcast before. I just, like, I thought of that word, bro.
He's always got parlance or, like, harken or something.
I've got harken in the script.
He's got to harken back to harken tonight. You guys are in for a treat.
God damn it. When it was used to describe not just the idea that Trump might win again, but why Trump might win again. So we're seeing TikToks of people in their 20s at country music festivals wearing MAGA hats, college kids in frat houses doing the Donald Trump dance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep. Listeners, I hope you know what we're talking about.
I hope you, because we just both did it, and listener,
figure it out.
Listeners, figure it out. But like emphasis on kids and emphasis on their use of social media. When I say culture war, I use it to mean a general understanding that Trumpism might be winning the culture war. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. God damn it. I wrote the script really fast, guys. Sorry. Some things might be nonsense.
Kitty is scratching the fuck out of her neck right now. If you hear a little bell jingling in the back, that's just the cat going to town.
Did you already explain why they have to wear bells?
I think I did
on the pod?
Last time. The cats have to wear bells so that they don't scare each other, because sometimes they attack each other just because they get freaked out by not knowing the other one is there, because they're both extremely stupid. Like, some cats are really smart and, like, very cool, like, creatures, just because they're just so, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Where they're, like, good at moving. Agile. They're so agile and cool. Our cats are really stupid and dumb. And they don't know what's going on. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What's the fluffy one's name?
Louis.
Louis.
King
Thank
Louis.
you. King Louis is very, he's very oafish. He's a lot like...
Oh, he's super oafy.
Yeah.
He's just the oafest.
Homer Simpson-ass cat. Anyway. Meg gagged underwater.
That's crazy, bro. That's actually crazy.
Historians have always found new and fun ways to describe vibe shifts in the past. Renaissances, fascism, mandate of heaven, all of them are pretty true, and what I think is symptomatic of all these events is a sort of cultural nihilism. You know, people asking, what good do the old rules have in this new world? And I think it's super easy to click your mind into place when you think about the Renaissance or the American Revolution. But what I'm about to propose is that people, the general public, and the median voter, are culturally nihilistic about Obama-era liberalism. Like what you just described, people in their golden age of wearing pussy hats and being resist libs. And I mean it. Like, it runs deep. The 2016 to 2021 era was the resist lib era, where every joke you see people make about Netflix shoehorning people of color into their shows, that comes from the Trump administration, 2016 to 2020. And yeah, it's one thing to say that this faction of the culture war, young men who grew up on SJW-owned videos, started here, but it was still pretty unpopular to be this, like, in public.
Yeah.
This was something it was only cool to be if you were the intended audience. Young men aged like 12 to 22 on the internet. It was a subculture, yeah. The people who made this content, people like Sargon of Akkad, Mencius Moldbug, Bronze Age Pervert, these three men 10 years ago used pseudonyms to post right-wing content online. In 2026, these men are Carl Benjamin, Curtis Yarvin, and Kostin Alamaru. Those are their literal names. The Overton window has shifted on their views and rhetoric so heavy that it's more beneficial to all of them to use their real names and real faces instead. Now, before we get into the question of is it hip to be right-wing, I want to explore the question of why isn't it hip to be left-wing anymore? Because as a self-proclaimed left-winger, I have a better answer for that, why it's not cool to be me anymore. Do you have anything to say on that?
I mean, plenty. I think, first of all, people are just tired. And it is just true that being leftist or like being an activist, being woke, whatever you want to call it, being a good person even, I would call it that, you know, it is more tiring. And people are already like really exhausted. And to do that and really not get any material reward out of it, it started to seem kind of pointless. We're all like kind of at a point of exhaustion. Like this nonstop movement in our society, grind culture, living through historical events, increased violence everywhere, the like doom of climate change kind of hanging over everybody, bigger wealth discrepancies, all of that has contributed to this like whole like cultural attitude of like exhaustion and panic and just like an even further focus on individualism and just like taking care of yourself, which we're already seeing in a lot of other ways like individualism is rising. So people just like don't have the energy to like care about other people right now, or like don't find it as important as caring about themselves. And I think that's a really big contributor, as well as just like, if you are leftist, like you're getting pushback from your own side. Like the puritanical culture within leftism is so exhausting and stupid, and it's like you're fighting with people who are supposedly on your side about like theory, and it's like, really, who cares? And we're just exhausting ourselves like in these like talking about hypotheticals rather than actually like doing anything meaningful. So like, I mean, you're kind of just like aimless a lot of the time. I think people feel like, and people who do get involved, like I can talk firsthand about like going to protests in the big year 2026 and like last year 2025. Like you go to a protest, you stand around with your signs, you do some chants or some songs, you hear some speeches. Some of those things can be powerful in terms of just hearing people's stories and connecting with people. But a lot of the time you leave those things and feel very empty and feel like you accomplished nothing. And in a lot of ways, that's like kind of true. And of course, like, okay, the cats are freaking out. Yeah. Hey. Psst. Okay, me when I attack. Okay, I have to like separate them. Okay, I had to deal with my evil cats.
We're back.
They're so bad. Anyway, but yeah, like, protests often feel kind of pointless these days, and a lot of times, like, that's not necessarily untrue. There are, like, some things to be gained, but, like, largely, like, you go home from a protest and the thing you were protesting might not get solved at all or even, like, addressed by your politicians. And that's, like, really disheartening and leads to, like, burnout, and all of that. So, you know, after, like, cycles and cycles of this, I understand why people kind of, like, turn away from politics or even turn away from, like, leftism entirely. Because it doesn't feel like you're accomplishing or gaining anything. And more so now than ever, like, people want rewards. Like, our brains suck now, and we want, like, you know, quick reward. What is that called? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
Like, there's a specific... None of the, like, good words are coming to my brain, but you just catch my drift, you know what I mean? And without that reward, like, people have less reason to, like, keep going. And I'm not saying that's right, but I'm saying, like, you know, it's an explanation.
So you're arguing that it's not hip to be left-wing anymore because left-wingers, as they already exist, are burned out from not accomplishing anything.
Yeah. It's, like, kind of really hard to accomplish anything, especially when you're faced with, like, democratic administrations that are kind of bent, it seems, on doing almost nothing. Because it's, like, leftist representation in our government is so not leftist.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, our opponent to Trump was Biden and then Kamala Harris. And it's like, those were two... Like, Joe Biden was super unpopular and, like, obviously was not the picture of life or, or like, progress, you know. Kamala Harris, like, you could make the argument that, like, she had more of those qualities that you look for in, like, a good politician, but still wasn't, like, convincing enough that she would really change anything. And people right now, like, more than anything, on both sides of, like, the political spectrum just want, like, change and, like, progress, whatever that maybe means to them. Those people did not represent that. And Democrats at large, like, don't represent progress in any sort of way. So it's like, I understand people, and we talked about this a lot in our election episode that we did when Trump did get reelected.
Yep.
Like, Democrats aren't making a good case for themselves. Like, I don't understand, like, or I do understand why people are really turned off from Democrats. Like, absolutely. They're not making a very good case in the opposite direction, like, of conservatism.
I like that. I like the idea that they're not making a good case for themselves. That does kind of feed into the argument I'm about to make, which is very long-winded, so you are going to have to...
Okay.
All right.
I also just have some stuff, which I can get into more later, but about, like, measuring success, which I think connects better to other topics. But the fact that, like, if you live your life as a super, super moral person and you're not necessarily getting those rewards, or at least not rewards that you can, like, measure and, like, calculate, it's harder to feel like you are having success. Whereas, like conservatives' measure of success often looks like wealth, or looks like the accomplishment of certain milestones, or the accomplishment of the nuclear family, or, like, blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
That's a good point. Hold that thought. It will come in later.
I'm holding it.
Because I think that does definitely play into why it's hip to be right-wing.
Yeah.
But I think before we get into that, we should probably explain why being left-wing... I mean, why did we get Trump after Obama? Mm-hmm. Why did we not get Harris after Biden?
Why did we not get Hillary Clinton?
Why did we... Exactly, yeah. One thing I want to say is populism is and will always be popular. Being elitist...
It's populism.
It's populism,
you know what
yeah.
I mean? So...
Being elitist can even be cool if you manage to convince your entire population that their population is the elite. Like how Soviet Russia got everyone super into chess and Dostoevsky. But, well, All right, let me draw some pictures in the audience's mind to prove my point here.
Okay.
Some cool election maps to ponder on are, if only people in America with a college degree voted in the 2024 election, Trump would have won maybe only a handful of states, if any. But that's neither of us. I didn't have a degree back then. Now, if only people who paid taxes voted in the 2024 election, that's us, Harris would have only won a handful of states, if any. And we have that election episode where we talk about the Democrats' failures that led them to losing, and go back and listen to it. It's a good one. It's pretty good. This episode will largely not be like that one. What I'm trying to illustrate here is that one side shows populism, and I have a perspective to add on to that. I think that America's default state, default zeitgeist, is to be conservative.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and this is super redundant to people like you and me, and probably most, like, all of our listeners, but there's still some insight to be extracted here, I think. Now, bear with me.
Bear with him.
Bear with me.
Hunker down.
American culture has always been about being an unowned monoculture. We're not subjects of a crown or serfs of an aristocracy. We elected our leader, making them a product of the American people, rather than the American people a product of the American crown. And I think nobody embodies this culturally, at least presently, more than the American right. There's this graph that's been going around that depicts diversity of thought among the left and the right that shows how the left only has a handful of close together thoughts meant to represent what people call groupthink. And the right has many thoughts that are all over the place meant to represent that the right is both capable of and, more importantly, accepting of a multitude of different ideas. The point here being that the right wing, surface level, is more accepting to the broadest population at once, thus making being a conservative the default. Progressive, my argument here is that because conservative Republican presidents are seen as the default, progressive Democratic presidents are almost seen as a punishment for conservatives' misbehavior. Now, really bear with me. You're going to like this.
Yeah. No, I'm loving it.
Nixon fumbled the Vietnam War and ushered in stagflation, something economists literally didn't think could happen until it did. So we elected Jimmy Carter to raise the Fed interest rate to 20% and fix the stagflation issue. But that sucked and was hard on everybody, so we brought in Reagan to get the good times flowing again, right? Bush the father got us into the war.
The father.
And that made everyone really sad and shook up the economy. So we elected Clinton to fix that. He balanced the budget. And then we elected Bush the son to get us back to normal. Bush the son ushered in the 2008 financial crisis. We elected Obama to fix that and give us #hope.
#hope.
By the end of his term, we wrapped up the financial crisis, and it was time to get the good times flowing again with Trump.
Yeah.
Do you see the perspective that I'm trying to...
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. I think American history makes a lot more sense when you look at it like a series of conservatives coasting along until they make a mistake that needs to be fixed, so we put them in timeout.
Right.
Conservatives aren't just always there. They're technically all of us represented by the statistical median voter. We just take in a progressive to fix our problems sometimes.
Yeah.
Automatically making conservatives the in-group and progressives the out-group.
Yeah. Well, but to be said too, like, our quote-unquote progressive politicians are not actually really that much different. Like, it's all about, like, you know, outlook and, like, what things, the aesthetics of things. So, yeah. So, yes, like, good point, but also, we're all just, like, pretending that we have, like, a left wing in our government, and that's just kind of not true. Because, but that proves your point further, is that, like, our core, our center in America is conservatism, and, like, you know.
Yeah. And I will touch on that point later, but I do like that you reinforced that we are all...
Let me reinforce you really quick.
Yeah, we're all way more conservative than even, like, we know.
Yes, yeah.
Now, you're thinking, Jeremy, the question was, is it hip to be left-wing anymore? And my answer to you, after all that yapping I just did, is that being left-wing is out. Woke was straight up unpopular. Not only did it get voted out, in quotations, the definition got changed, and I mean really changed. It used to be, woke, the word, used to be, you know, it used to be associated with African-American empowerment. Mm-hmm. Now it's a word exclusively used derogatorily by the right. Either that, or it's being reclaimed by people on the left. It's funny as fuck to go around saying that I'm woke as...
I'm the woker.
I'm the woker.
I'm literally the woker.
Existing as an inversion of the derogatory definition. So woke is theirs. Mm-hmm. Only select spaces are as woke as they were in 2020. Like, I don't go on Blue Sky because they're too woke. And like Andrea Dworkin asserts in her book, Right Wing Women, it's actually easier to self-actualize as a minority if you manage to find yourself fitting in with the default rather than your minority group, because paradoxically, defining and materially associating yourself only in terms of one to several insular group can be far more isolating than associating with the majority at the expense of your rights, your quality of life, etc.
Okay, well, I had that written down too, but whatever.
Did you really?
I mean, not all that, but but like the concept of it. But basically, like, we've talked about this in other episodes too. I think we talked about it maybe in like our like being crazy on purpose or some sort of like trad wife conversation.
Yeah.
But we just talked about in general like how like if you're like in an oppressive state, you can choose to survive by pushing back, which is really exhausting and might lead to, you know, you being unsafe, or you can play the game and try to win. And I think conservatism and this rise that we're seeing is like a lot of people are like, fuck it, let me play the game and let me win the game that's like set out before me.
Yes, and they're not like, I like the way you said that, because it doesn't sound like even you are being defeatist about it. They're not like, I'm losing, so let me play the game so I can win it. They're like, fuck it, let me win the game.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what, like, grind culture is. It's like, let me win capitalism. It's like, a normal person is never actually going to be able to accomplish that, of course, but we're all, like, you know, told that we can. If we pull ourselves up from our bootstraps, you can win capitalism. You can be the capitalist, you know?
And from here, now that we've sort of established why it's not hip to be left-wing anymore, I think realism, this cold, gray, materialist, you know, realism is what's hip right now. And if we begin with the idea that people simply admire Trump, a billionaire who's won the materialist game, we can begin to understand why people of all creeds and classes would rather vote for him than, you know, the dour, hoity-toity lawyer Kamala Harris.
Right.
Biden and his failures, I think, really speak to the whole of the Democratic Party's vibe. The Democrats seemed intellectual and hopeful under Obama, and now the Democrats, like Biden, are dull and feeble and need more and more handlers and caretakers every single day. Biden's sundown, for Christ's sakes. How do you follow up on a president that sundowned? Certainly not by being his appointed successor.
Right, no, literally.
Oh, here it is. Ready?
Ready?
Let's harken back.
Yeah, real quick, let's harken back.
Let's harken back.
Mm-hmm. Harkening back to that.
Harkening back to that. Harken up. Harken up, bitches. Let's harken back to when I said a Democrat president only gets elected to fix a problem. In 2020, being woke was real, and it was what was associated with that time period and administration. I believe the perceived message of Kamala's administration is that we need woke to fix our spiritual situation. Again, no answer or even acknowledgement to any material issue besides, I'm not Trump. No one wants to be told that they need to be spiritually fixed. Furthermore,
your guys' auras suck.
Literally. Furthermore, nobody wants to be told that their spirit needs to be fixed by sad, condescending complainers who we only keep around in case something's broken. Democrats and leftists are, as a fact, less happy than conservatives and right-wingers at any age and at most social classes. This has been true for quite some time now. Who wants to be ruled by miserable people?
Right.
My largest critique of the left is that everyone seems suicidal, and that's no culture.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely a turnoff.
Yeah. My argument here, after that whole paragraph, is, to sum it up, no one wants to be ruled by the people that we only keep around to fix stuff because it means something's broken.
Yeah.
It's only cool when something's broken and we're on the side that wants to fix the broken thing.
No, absolutely.
Besides that, who wants to be part of the party, who willingly wants to be part of the party that is only around to complain and fix broken stuff?
I like your point about the condescension and like telling people that they are doing something wrong and they need to like fix them. Yeah, no one wants to hear that. And it just feels so good to say slurs, of course, and they just want to say slurs so bad that it's like, well, I'm an adult, and so I can say slurs no matter what you say at Kamala Harris, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, great points. Good job, Jeremy.
And from here, I want to offer some explanations as to why I think it's hip to be right-wing. Quite simply put, culturally, like you said, they're the party of success and happiness.
Yes, you have two choices: the party of success, happiness, and saying slurs, or the party of depression, sundowning, doing buttfuck nothing. Like,
literally,
what would you choose if you're like a young impressionable person, or just impressionable?
Right. Name one Democrat friend who's not sad right now.
Cannot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Rich people are generally right-wing. So you're coveting that. You're coveting the politics of a rich person, what their lifestyle is. We've gone over that, right? The institution of sports leagues are right-wing coded. The institution of marriage is right-wing coded. Sydney Sweeney's body is right-wing coded. And her popularity is also right-wing coded. And don't even pretend you don't know what I mean.
Yeah. Dude, no, as soon as a man says, name like a hot celebrity, it's first thing Sydney Sweeney, oh, it's over. It's over.
That's the hot celebrity, though. And everyone points to her as being like, hot celebrities are back because woke is dead.
Right. Thank God. That's what we needed. Oh, we're like gonna run out of water soon. Thank God Sydney Sweeney can have boobs, though. God. Perfect.
That's all I need.
Perfect.
I don't have to worry about water in like 60 years because I have Sydney Sweeney's boobs right now.
Right. No, people actually think this.
Comedians used to be center to left wing, and in reality, I think they still kind of are. But those comedians have all done Netflix specials called Cancelled, where they talk about how woke made being funny illegal. A sentence often uttered by Elon Musk. So now being a comedian is right-wing coded. And all this stuff we've said before on probably like 3 episodes now, but this podcast has been ongoing for 2 years now, and these things have only gotten more and more true.
And we're also so smart that we can now use our own episodes as sources. We can quote ourselves.
We can quote ourselves.
Damn, bitch, you made a good point.
We popped up.
Okay.
Simply put, being woke it's unfun.
It's just not fun, you guys. Like, people want to have fun.
Yeah, like you said, it makes you do stuff like police other people. It's like...
Well, I mean, like, right-wingers do that too, but in a way, you're not policing your group. You're policing other groups, which is more fun to be in the in-group.
Mm-hmm,
It's a lot about in-grouping and a lot about monkey brain. Like, survival is based on living in groups in our monkey brains. So this is a group that you can be in.
And it is...
Low barriers for entry.
Yep. It is also a little bit about being, like, simply, you know, it's being a bully is fun.
Yes,
you can bully other people and make yourself feel good about yourself.
Yeah. Well, okay, I want to use that as an in to get to my... There's this Sarah shower video on TikTok that I really like. It's, like, you know, like 2 minutes long, but it was, like, really cool. She's so smart. She, like, made Vines. Like, I don't know if you remember her, but... She was, like, a Viner, and now she was, like, really smart and a lesbian. It's awesome.
When Vine was around and a thing, I was 11.
Okay, me too. Like, grow up. I was actually 9.
You would have been 9.
Yeah. So, get like me.
You were 9 on
anyway.
Vine? Dude,
I, like, low-key made Vines. But also, I just used to, like, watch a lot of, like, when Vine died, like, Vine almost became more popular than it had been when it was alive. So I would watch, like, a lot of, like, compilations on YouTube.
Oh, maybe I did that, too.
But you didn't, like, go on Vine?
No, I didn't really have a phone.
Oh, I had phone, like, from, like... I had, like, iPod Touch at, like, 9 or 10. So I was, like, cooked early.
I was on my pewter.
I was... Okay. Okay.
Playing Flash
I'm, like,
games.
addicted to saying okay. Like, it's really not
Okay.
good. I go okay at work, and then my coworker goes, what comes after being in book? Oh, okay. Like, don't say that to me. That's, like, a high level... It took me a second to get it the first time, too. It did. I can't lie. He's kind of a big brain for that. Anyway, the Sarah shower video I'm talking about. She talks about, like, first of all, like, how humor is just, like, you know, kind of the first step in a right-wing pipeline. Because of two things. A, that, like, laughter and humor is just kind of a social glue. And it's, like, that first, like, entry into connecting with somebody is, like, often, like, a joke.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but the fact that laughter is like a pain med, basically. Like, it releases endorphins in your brain, similar to, like, literally how pain medication works. And there's this quote from it that says, it's like asking why surgery starts with anesthesia is why, like, the alt-right pipeline starts with jokes. People can normalize and even be excited to dehumanize others through these jokes because it feels really good to do when it, like, accomplishes those two things. It puts you in the in-group, it connects you, it bonds you with people, and it releases good chemicals in your brain. It feels really good. So that's, like, I mentioned that not only because it's, like, an alt-right pipeline thing, but it's, like, I think really relevant when it comes to, like, Trumpism. Trump is a funny guy. Like, objectively, he's silly. People from... You can make fun of him, but at the... Like, people... He's just so outrageous and, like, silly that even when you're making fun of him, like, you kind of can't deny that he himself is just kind of funny. And to be, like, a conservative watching him, like... It probably feels really good to be conservative and watch Donald Trump make a speech and he tells a little joke. Like, it probably feels really good. I can't, like, just imagining that.
Name one joke Kamala Harris made.
No, other than, like, the coconut shit. But that wasn't even a joke, you know what I mean? People were making fun. So, yeah, you're right. Like, the funniest thing about her was her laugh, like, her reacting to jokes. But it's like, that wasn't a joke. That was just her.
No.
She was just, yeah. So I think humor is a big tactic that people are leaning into. I really, the PR of it all is really interesting to me, too. The way that, and we've talked a lot about, like, pop culture and conservative infiltration in fashion, in, like, you know, trad wife trends and, like, manosphere type shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's worth bringing up again. And specifically PR on, you know, platforms like TikTok and just, like, social media in general. They're targeting youth using social media platforms because that's what everybody sees. These things that are aspirational, people who clearly have money, who seem to be successful, who are in the in crowd and have a group of people around them. So, yeah.
What that reminds me of is, how, like, Nick Fuentes got so popular. If you know who that is, I'm sorry. If you don't, good.
I want you to explain, because I barely know who he is, so I do want you to explain Nick Fuentes to me.
So he's funny because he kind of runs just like a late night show. His whole platform is he goes on a streaming platform. I don't remember what he's on right now. I actually don't watch Nick Fuentes, guys. Believe it or not. So I can't tell you where he's streaming right now. But he goes on a stream and just talks about what's going on in America for a couple of hours, which is no different from, like, you know, John Oliver or whatever, just like regular night show stuff. But what makes him different is he is, like, kind of, the people who write about him describe him as a champion of white nationalism, and they're not entirely incorrect. They're actually pretty right on the nose about that. He loves to blame everything on the Jews and talk about how we should probably, you know, kick out everyone who's not the same color as us, and it just...
Perfect.
Yeah, it just, every horrible thing, he's saying it. But he's doing it in a very funny, witty way. And a lot of men know who Nick Fuentes is because they're going on Instagram and they're even if you're not seeing it, like, in your, like, when you're scrolling reels, your friends are gonna send you your fucked up friends. The boy experience. Your buddy, your coworker buddy, is gonna send you a Nick Fuentes reel.
Coworker reels.
Yeah, coworker. Yeah, literally. It is. He is. No, that's exactly it. That's a really good coworker reels. That's exactly it. Your coworker's gonna send you a really funny clip of Nick Fuentes, like, making a joke about the Jews or whatever. Just a really funny racist joke.
Yeah. I mean, if you're, like, really self-assured and you're, like, funny and you're saying these things, like, unabashedly, like, it is gonna draw an audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're seeing it on Instagram. I don't think he has an Instagram account. I don't think Nick Fuentes is on Instagram.
It's just people, like, clipping him.
It's people clipping his funniest stuff and then posting that, and they know it's gonna be huge. And it gets huge every time. That stuff gets popular because it's funny to a demographic of people. And if that's all you see of Nick Fuentes and you see it over and over and over again, that humor is gonna make it...
It normalizes it.
It normalizes
and again,
it,
like,
yeah.
Again, like, that's, like, the first step in the alt-right pipeline, because it's like, haha, funny joke. But, like, even if you don't necessarily agree with it, like, you're still finding it funny or, like, finding it entertaining at the very least, and, like, that is the first step to normalizing it, you know?
It also reminds me of how, like, you... back to mogging and maxing and stuff like that.
Harkening back
to that. Clavicular and Adam
Harkening back to mogging and maxing.
Dude, what... Where
am I right
now? A podcast? What's a podcast?
Help,
Where am
I? We're in the ward.
We
don't do visual episodes because we're in the ward.
Harkening back to mogging and maxing. Clavicular and Adam Friedland have the same PR team. They hire the same, like, PR firm to manage them. And I went to their Twitter one time. And they only have like 500 followers or something. They're small. A lot of people go through them. And, like, their whole motto, if you go to their page, is that they specialize in handling PR for complicated people.
What a way to put it.
Yeah. So think about how you've never sat down and watched Clavicular stream, but you know his face, you know what he says, you know who he is because you're seeing clips of him. That's very intentional. You're seeing the funniest, most accessible stuff, and then, you know, like in our Girl Interrupted episode, it just gets so easy to ramp that up because you're feeling accepted into an in-group, and all of a sudden everyone at the bar is saying that their looks maxing.
Right.
That's just how it happens.
Yeah.
Clavicular is an incel, man. He comes from the incel forums. That is not a place that anyone's ever heard of.
No, he's an absolute, like, extremist, but, like, because, like, there's funny things to say about him, like, this shit gets normalized. Part of the shower video, too, is, like, people, because laughter is, like, a pain med, it, like, kind of makes you numb to, like, maybe, like, the jokes that you're hearing or telling might be, like, absolute, like, just garbage, monstrous shit. Like, you're, like, dehumanizing people in your, like, dark humor jokes. But because you're on a pain med, essentially, you're, like, numb to what you're actually saying. It's just, like, all it matters is that it's funny and that, like, other people think it's funny.
Yeah. And you can, and Nick Fuentes admits that he does this, like, have a sort of... You can kind of deny that it was ever so serious because he's just making jokes for a couple hours. He's just cracking jokes.
Right. That's a great point too. It's like, oh, I'm just being silly.
Yeah.
It's not that serious. Stop being woke. Stop taking it so, like, it's not that deep.
Yeah.
It's not that deeping ourselves into fascism, dude. Like, fuck.
I did see people post that on their stories,
yeah.
When Trump got elected, and I will admit I thought that was kind of dumb. I may have even said something about that on the podcast, but I unfortunately think I've come to change my opinion on that.
Yeah.
We might be, it's not that deeping ourselves into fascism.
Yeah. It's both. It's because it's like, it comes back to the leftist infighting thing sometimes. It's like, some of us are so chronically online and so busy, like, fighting about theory. It's like, yeah, those things are, like, maybe, like, don't matter in the real world a lot of the time, or at least, like, don't matter right now. Like, we've got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
But then there's also the people who are, like, on the other side who are, like, using ChatGPT or, like, you know, just passively doing really crappy stuff and, like, being like, it's not that deep. And it's like, no, it actually is, because it has, like, material consequences that we're all going to face sooner or later.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, no, it actually is. And, like, but there is something to be said too about, like, casual language and how it is normalized does eventually, like, go its way up the pyramid to, like, affecting people. I think I've talked about this before, but, like, there's, like, a pyramid of, like, fascism, and at the very bottom are, like, jokes and, like, you know, entry-level fascist little tidbits, but then you go all the way up the pyramid and get more extreme, and it's, like, all those things on the bottom layers led to the top layers.
Yeah, and you can draw a straight line to it.
Yeah.
Wish I had, like, I bet there's books about how, like, Nazi Germany started with jokes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm sure that has had some kind of...
I would love to actually know about that.
Yeah. Good gosh, where was I?
Good gosh.
We did go
Harkening back.
Harkening back. That was all off the cuff, you guys. I have to go back to the script.
We're hella off the cuff.
Oh, back to why I think it's hip to be right-wing. Besides that you can be funny and make any kind of joke that you want. Or I guess what I'm about to say kind of plays into this. An article from January 2025 in New York Magazine titled "The Cruel Kids Table" is what inspired me to make this episode.
Which I was not allowed to read, by the way, because there's no free PDFs anywhere on the internet right now.
I think there was at one point, and then the website that it was
scrubbed.
Yeah,
I clicked on a bunch of Reddit links. All of them were, like, gone.
Yeah, I really tried.
So you're gonna have to explain this article. I know the gist of it. I've seen people talk about it, and I've seen, like, the cover of it was is a really famous photo now, so, like, yep. I know of it, but, like, go ahead and give us a brief.
Again, please do yourself a favor and just look at the cover. The person who snapped the photo tried their hardest to make everyone in the photo look wet and dirty and evil with, like, framing and lighting tricks, but what they actually ended up capturing was a bunch of young, hot, well-dressed people at a fancy party enjoying their lives. And something that really got me is when this article first came out, there were a lot of leftists on Twitter that talked about how the framing and the lighting is, like, if you went to school for photography, that's...
Like, the contrast is super high. Like,
yeah.
You can tell it's kind of... It is meant to, like, look like, I don't know, surface level, it looks like a bunch of kids having fun. But yeah, looking at the photography aspects of it, like, there's something, like, kind of sinister about it.
And that was what was intended
Yeah.
by the photographer. He tried to make everyone look, like, kind of sinister.
Yeah.
But that's surface level not what it looks like.
Because no one has...
a photography degree.
Yeah, no one really and, like, again, like, there's no media literacy anymore, so, like, people are like, wow, this looks like a group of kids who are just having the best night ever.
Yeah, and everyone would respond to those people who, you know, have photography degrees with that, you know, that's what you see is going on, but, like, that's not... It looks like a lot of kids having fun, so that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm using that to sort of reinforce my point about how it's so elitist. You only know that it's supposed to be it's supposed to make them look evil if you notice the contrast. Besides that, it's a picture of a bunch of kids, a bunch of hot kids having fun. That's what it looks like, so that's what it is.
Yeah.
And the article cover is captioned, "Out late with the young right as they contemplate cultural domination." And I have read the article before, I do remember it. And it's mostly about exactly what they just said, like how they think they got there, what they think they're going to do, and how they think it's going to affect the future. But these are just kind of young, drunk kids. They're all holding champagne in that picture.
Oh, yeah, and there's, like, pictures further in that are, like, you know, like, people have, like, shit, like, spilled on their shirts and, like...
Yeah,
you
those
know,
are
like,
pretty funny.
they're, like, everyone's, like, drunk. Like, this is, like, a party, you know?
Yeah. But more than anything I've just said this entire episode, I think this excerpt from the article explains the vibe shift the best. This set's most visible political stance is a reaction to what it sees as the left's puritanical obsessions with policing language and talking about identity. A joke about Puerto Ricans, or eugenics, or sleeping with Nick Fuentes could throw a pack of smokers outside Butterworth's into... I think Butterworth's is like the place they were partying at. Mm-hmm. Could throw a pack of smokers outside Butterworth's into a giggle fest. Recounting her time at one of the balls, a woman tells me she jumped the velvet rope into a VIP section like a little Mexican. Then she lets out a cackle. This is the posture that has attracted newcomers to the cause. 6 months into Biden being president, I was like, I can't fucking do this anymore, says a 19-year-old New Yorker who once quite literally had blue hair and attends Marymount Manhattan, which he describes as 75% women and 23%, that's a slur I can't say. He had supported Biden, but I hate watching the things I say. I took a much farther horseshoe around this time. Later, a former Bernie supporter who looked like the most Bernie supporting person one could imagine, with long curly hair and a plaid shirt, told me the same. Me. Told me the same. He wanted the freedom to say. He then goes on to say 2 slurs.
Literally, they just want to say slurs.
Literally, they just want to say slurs. And this reminds me of something I definitely discussed on one of our episodes about how, like, every member of Cubtown and most of their fan base, and also both Red Scare Girls, were Bernie bros back when he was running, when everyone thought he was going to win in 2020. And they were called dirtbag leftists. They didn't want to be policed by woke. They wanted the freedom to say slurs. Cumtown is such a crazy-ass podcast that, like, I can't believe the things they were saying, and they were leftists, and they were. That's the thing.
I mean, there's a type of person that is just going to be attracted to extremism, regardless of, like, the form of it, or regardless of, like, their actual, like, beliefs. Like, I don't think they actually believe anything. A lot of these people, like, they're just, like, doing whatever allows them to, like, look interesting. You know what I mean? I've talked about this a little bit. There's, like, it reminds me of, like, I always say that there's a type of leftist man out there who could have just as easily been, like, a super right-wing dude. The only difference is, like, what ideology reached him first. Because, like, at his core, there really is just like an anger or like a need to feel smart that could have gone whatever direction, you know, like at the core it's not actual like leftist beliefs leading, it's just like anger.
And in that short excerpt, he pointed out two men that did just that.
Right.
So you
can switch over because there's not actually like a core like political belief. It's just like core like selfishness.
Yeah. All this to say, I think it's a larger culture thing as opposed to a policy thing. Like exactly what you said, they don't care.
They don't care about policy. They don't care about like shit. They literally just care about like how it looks and the optics of it.
Mm-hmm. People don't like having their personalities policed unless they're the ones doing the policing.
Yeah, I mean, when you get to be the police, it's super fun.
Yeah.
It's like super fun to tell other people what like is right and what is wrong. Because you're in the right. You get to determine what is right, you know?
Yeah. Like a lot of the leftist men that you've just described.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's so many men who, like, leftist men who, like, police about theory. Like, they are, like, the puritanical, like, leftists, like, the embodiment of that.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to tell people, like, what Maoism is rather than, like, actually, I don't know, like, plant a tree or some shit. Like, you know.
Well said.
Yeah.
And they perceive woke as having, policed these men that went to the right wing and made it hip, perceive being woke as having policed their personalities.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's a new theory that I've been working on, right?
Okay.
Curtis Yarvin got close with J.D. Vance because he writes about uprooting and destroying woke wherever it is. And that's where I think the gravy train stops. Woke is no fun because it's censorship. I think there will be a similar backlash to, and this, like, described sort of anti-wokeness for the same reason. I think it'll gradually become uncool to be anti-woke, simply because you go around policing what other people say.
Mm-hmm. No one likes a cop. No one likes a narc.
No one likes a cop, and I think that's the big thing. I earnestly think, even though men like you've just described exist, there are far more people who simply don't like a narc, and that is their whole political belief.
Yeah.
That is everything they base their whole lives on.
And that is, like, so American, too. Like, there is just, like, at our core, like, we just want to be free, and we just want to do whatever, and fuck you if you tell me I can't do something.
Mm-hmm. And I think... I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Plain and simple.
It's just a matter of moving that cultural dominance, because the people who have that default right now is conservatives. Mm-hmm. It's a matter of, if we, the leftists, want to win, it's a matter of moving that from them to us.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah. Of course, what conservatives miss is, like, they obviously don't care about anyone that doesn't, like, look like them or come from, you know, the same places. Obviously, like, the logical kind of conclusion of everything is that, you know, no one is free until we're all free, mm-hmm. type, you know, stuff. And, like, you know, your right to do whatever might infringe on someone else's right to exist. So it's like, we have to find somewhere where everybody can have the same rights. Obviously, conservatives don't give a fuck about that because it doesn't affect them directly. Of course, mm-hmm. it does, and they don't know that. And that's, like, kind of sad. Because we should all, like, there's, like, I do believe in, like, the collective human spirit, and, like, we all could be free and happy together, but we're not. All of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that is, to take it more analytical, to be super nerdy about it.
Yeah, take my hippie stance and make it.
Yeah, I think that's a good reason as to why, like, Harris is unpopular, and, like, Zohran Mamdani is so popular that he won.
Yeah. Shout out,
against
by the way.
Kind of all odds, is because Harris proposed, what she did propose, apologies she did propose, is a lot of means-tested stuff.
Yeah.
And what means-tested means is we research who needs something the most in order to give it to them first.
Yeah.
Like, imagine a library, but it's only open to you if you can't read.
Right.
Because the people who can't read need a library the most. It's not how a library works. A library is free and open to everyone. Mm-hmm. I think Mamdani got so popular because his policies aren't means-tested. He's just implementing them in a very populist sort of way. But that's my mini rant on that. Okay. That might not even be too connected to what we said. But you guys get it. You know, the anecdote that I have for... I'll just skip that. Anyways.
Yeah, no one wants to hear about your personal life.
No one gaff.
Fuck you.
Now, to end this episode, at least my talking points, I want to introduce a white pill.
Thank you.
Trump runs heavy on protecting not just Social Security, but the wealth of old people, which is alright. You can gather why that is. That's most of his base. But what makes me giggle is that Social Security was part of the New Deal, which as a whole was so unpopular in Congress that it had to essentially be rammed through Congress undemocratically by America's only 4-term president because the popular conservative position was to block it.
Yeah.
A publicly funded bank account / pension fund for old people is a super left-wing position, also not means-tested. Everyone gets Social Security. Super left-wing position, just straight up, not an argument. So why is it that Trump is defending it so hard? I think the answer to this question might help us understand the sunset of the vibe shift and making progressives, or just Democrats, the default and cool. Remember how I said that they only call progressives in when Democrats make a mistake?
And they gotta fix it.
It? That reminded me...
Harkening back to that.
I fucking love harkening back.
I fucking love it when we harken back. Holy shit.
It reminded me, if you've ever taken, like, a U.S. history or U.S. government class, how most of the history of the U.S. government post-1776 is the states having a bunch of rights to do stuff their own way, individually, and the federal government running into a mistake with that because that sucked, and being like, okay, we're going to take this away from you, and this is going to be governed by the federal government. This is our rights now, and we get to decide how this is done. I think, because, you know, the Constitution is a living document and whatnot, so on and so forth. Supposedly. I think that over a very long period of time, unfortunately, conservatives are going to make so many mistakes, and progressives are going to have to come in and fix so many things that our Constitution, our American way of life, just looks so progressive that that's just the conservative position. The conservative position is to love Social Security. That was an extremely left-wing communist position back then. I think the Overton window will simply shift over time, hopefully, until things get better. My final thesis is that things trend left-wing.
Okay.
Throughout history.
Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, like, that's just, I think, at the end of the day, how people want to live. Like, people want to be free and, like, want other people to be free. I know that's, like, not what we see a lot of the time, but I think, optimistically, I do think that is what the human spirit trends towards, and I think it is inevitable that we will be free someday.
I do think so. I think it kind of sucks that I belong to the group of people in America that everyone hates and only call in when something's broken, but they put leftists, you know, Democrats in, can't really call them leftists, to fix something, and like the 2008 financial crisis, or FDR implement the New Deal to fix the Great Depression, they get it fixed eventually, and then something like Social Security becomes permanent policy. Mm-hmm. And that's... things just get better for everyone over a very long period of time.
Well, and to bring that to kind of more of a personal level, and harkening back to what I said earlier when I was talking about how a lot of times it feels like there is no reward to living your life in a moral way, or to like, or being woke, whatever. Mm-hmm. That might be the case in terms of what it looks like materially and like what, like how you measure success, but I don't think it's actually true. I think the reward you get from being a good person is the satisfaction you have with your life, your fulfillment, and your like personal relationships. I think you can only enjoy your life as much as like you can sleep at night, you know what I mean? And plenty of people like will just ignore and like never really think about the consequences of their actions and like whatever, like that's how people are when they're like running from their own truths. But I think people who are good and introspective and care, they are gonna sleep better at night, and they're gonna sleep with a better like self-actualization and better friendships and relationships, because they will connect with other like-minded people who care about being a good person, and that is a huge reward. The fact that you like get to love people, like that's huge. I think that's huge.
I think that's huge, guys.
White pill.
Hashtag
white
love and
pill.
respect.
Love and respect.
Plur is the white pill.
Fuck plur. Oh my god. Yup. Yeah, and we're gonna say plur on the podcast too. Whatever.
Where am I right now?
Literally, where am I right now? I do have one point. I know we like had just a beautiful conclusion, but there is one thing that like didn't kind of get organically brought up, so I'm gonna like force it up.
Fire away.
I think that entitlement is a big thing in this like rise of conservatism. Okay. I've been saying that wrong the entire time. I'm sorry. It's just a really long word, and I'm not gonna say the whole thing. So fuck you guys. Whatever.
I also say conservatism.
I don't know what I've even been saying, but every time I say it, I'm like, I didn't say that right, but I'm gonna move on. Like I really don't have time for that anyway. But I want to argue that like for some people facing our generational doom. And as I said earlier, like, our generation sees this huge wealth discrepancy, climate change, a crappy job market, increasing violence, all those, like, awful things that, like, keep happening and, like, that we're so aware of because of how news circulates now. Our reaction to that, or, like, some people's reaction to that, has made them react with entitlement, because we're fed this idea that the generations before us, and specifically like our parents or our grandparents, lived in this like golden age of America, where like a peaceful, successful life was really easy to achieve. People had houses that they owned. People had like the nuclear family. People had like careers, you know, and it was the kind of, it's at least packaged as this very like simple, beautiful life that people got to have, and that our generation doesn't really get to, or doesn't get to have as easily because of just how fucked everything is. Like our American dream is like harder to achieve, and some people really feel entitled to that sort of life and feel really upset that they don't get to have it, and so conservatism is that path to getting that life. It's a lot easier to get, or at least like project that you're getting it, when you kind of just go with like the basics. You go with, okay, let me get this like desk job at corporate, let me get the nuclear family, let me believe that I am righteous in doing all of these things and live in like an echo chamber type shit.
I think I'm picking up what you're putting down. It is people believing that the world owes you a living, which, bitch, it does. I pay taxes. The world owes me a living.
I'm owed a little bit.
I'm owed a little bit.
Yeah.
even spiritually, for every pony.
Yeah.
I think the world owes everyone a living.
Yeah. Hashtag generation, or I mean, universal income, basic income.
Yeah.
Type shit. But
well, hashtag, like, nobody's free until we're all free. That sort of philosophy.
Plur.
Plur. Literally, hashtag plur. But what I really picked up from what you just said is a sort of a common... Nobody really says this and believes this out loud, but they are acting on it in reality. They're acting with this sort of like, fuck you, I got mine.
Yeah.
I got what I need, I don't need to help anyone else.
Yeah.
This sort of individualism where you take and then you don't give.
Yeah.
You take from wherever you could take from, no matter where that is, and then you don't need to give.
Not plur.
Not plur. And I do think that is one of the things that causes the mistakes that get Democrats elected in the broad scheme of things, which kind of leads me to say one last point. I don't think the median voter is ready for everyone to be free. I think we have to go through a lot more mistakes until we are free. That is not to say that we should stop trying, though.
Yeah.
You should absolutely be out in the streets protesting. I even think the Nothing Burger, No Kings rallies every year
I think
are
they're still
fine. You can
they have benefit for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to like fuck on like all protests or something earlier, but there is like a disheartening side to those things. But of course they are one like kind of part of they're one vegetable in the big soup that is like progress.
Yeah, you saying that did serve the purpose to illustrate that, like, those protests don't appear as if they're going anywhere right now or doing anything. So you're just...
But it's valuable to see other people.
Yeah.
It is, especially when you do talk about, like, No Kings, like, that appeals to the median. That appeals to, you know, people who don't like Trump, but aren't necessarily, like, super leftist. It's very valuable for those people to see that other people feel the same way about this without it feeling too extreme because, again, like, you know, frog in a boiling pot of water. Like, you can't take the median person, constituent, show them a more extreme, more, like, radical view and expect them to, like, totally get it the first time. Like, let's see each other in a chiller space, and then over time maybe they'll, like, understand that more things are connected, that things are deeper than they seem, that, like, it is that deep, and, like, yeah.
And it'll get to be that deep. And it's important to show people, be out in the streets and have them understand what the other option is when they have to elect a Democrat in the presidency. What are they going to do? What is the other option? What is the opposition? What should I want besides this? Otherwise, you don't know what you want besides this, so you just stick with what you know, which is the default, and things suck even though...
Yeah.
People have always protested for left-wing causes just throughout history, and I don't think that's ever going to stop, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And I encourage that.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, like, inevitably, like, I think we will see the culture shift again, as it always does. But more so, I think, like, the good will win over evil and all of that. But, like, more specifically, like, the right-wing government is not going to benefit the average Joe, and people will wake up to this when they start not seeing any benefits. Yeah. It's like, okay, and we're starting to see, like, gas prices rise, grocery prices rise.
Don't piss me off, dude. I filled up my gas before I came over here.
We're seeing, like, a war that the majority of Americans have no reason to want to fight in, you know, all of these things. Yes. Like, people eventually will have to see that this is not something that is serving them or their friends, even in the more privileged spaces in America, because unless you're, like, really, really wealthy, these things aren't helping you.
Yeah. I'll admit, like, I got I voted for Harris, but I got kind of swept up in, like, what I thought, like, in my ideas of the vibe shift. I thought that, okay, Trump's president, at least he said that he'll be the president of peace. We're not going to have any new wars. This soft isolationism stance he's going to have is going to make, tariffs are going to make things expensive. He's going to offset that by making government smaller and cutting regulations so we can't breathe the air, but at least eggs are cheap. And gas is cheap. And
a lot of
cheap.
people, were at least, like, maybe they weren't, like, super conservative or, like, MAGA people, but, like, a lot of people thought that, okay, well, this will at least, like, give me some, like, benefits to my family.
Yeah. It's nice to not be in a war. I think Kamala's going to take us into a war.
Yeah.
I still maintain the fact
so
that
funny.
I think Harris might have taken us into a war.
I
Not
mean,
Harris,
everybody...
Hillary Clinton.
Everybody takes us into a damn war. Like, you know...
Maybe I should start understanding that. But I truly, I naively, like, truly thought that Trump was not going to start any wars. I was caught off guard.
That's hilarious.
I actually, I ate that lie, just like the rest of his voter base. Like, I actually can't believe that. I did get swept up in the vibe shifts. I was a little hopeful about one thing, and boy, did I learn my lesson.
yeah. And many will.
And many will. But don't listen to that. Listen to my white pill that things will eventually get better. Democrats will get voted in to fix things, and after 100 years, things will just be better.
God. Yeah, just wait 100 years.
If not for us, for the next generation.
Right.
Right.
Okay, well, I don't have time to talk about all that, but that's it.
This is already a decent-sized episode. I think we'll leave the rest of the audience.
You talk for a second. We've been talking.
Yeah. Guys, write to us. What did you guys think?
Literally, we got no feedback on the podcast, and people seem to like it because we get good ratings or whatever, and some viewers, but we don't hear nothing. We don't get comments. We don't get emails. You can email us anytime about anything, and we will respond to that shit. You can DM us on Instagram. We will respond to that shit.
And we do. And it's gonna be me or Megan. You're not gonna know which one.
Yeah, we like to not say.
Because we both type in lowercase.
How will we provide? We won't. Okay. This has been Uncontained Multitudes. I've been Meg.
I've been Jeremy.
See you later, alligator.
See you in a while, crocodile.
Yup.